be beginning with the Shivpuran reading synopsis. Last week we read chapter 24 and 25 of KotiRudrasamhita of volume 3 of Shivpuran. In this, Suta narrated the story of excellent sage Gautam and his virtuous wife Ahalya, who performed an excellent penance up to 10,000 years on the Brahmagiri mountain. Once a terrible drought lasting for 100 years occurred, and all people and animals were put in great distress. Sage Gautam performed an auspicious penance of Varuna for 6 months. The delighted god of Varuna asked him to request for a boon. Gautam requested him for rain, but Varuna requested him to ask for something else. On Gautam's persistence, Varuna asked him to dig a ditch there which was a hand's length deep. Varuna filled it with perennial supply of divine water. After this, Varuna vanished from there, and Gautam sowed different food, grains, trees, flowers, fruits, which then produced in plenty. Many sages and animals flocked there, and the forest became beautiful. There was joy due to penance of sage Gautam. In chapter 25, we read that one sage Gautam sent his disciples for water, but the women folk there prevented them from taking water. When the disciples informed Sage's wife, she went there to pacify the woman and brought water for Sage, who performed routine rites with it. But the women, who were the wives of other sages, were infuriated with Gautam's wives and rebuked her. They narrated the entire incident to their husbands by distorting the facts, which infuriated the sages. The sages then worshipped Lord Ganesha with the intent to turn out Gautam from his hermitage. When the delighted Ganesha asked them to request for a boon, they wished on turning out Gautam from his hermitage. Although Ganesha advised the sages to request for another boon, the sages persisted. He granted them the boon and vanished from there. Ganesha assumed the form of a feeble cow and went to Gautam's field and started eating the food grains. When Gautam saw the cow, he tried to ward it off with a bunch of grass blades, and as soon as he touched the cow with the grass, the cow fell dead. The other sages who were hiding there watched the whole thing and began to shout. The wicked sages pelted stones on Gautam and his wife and asked him to leave the hermitage and not to perform any ritual till the curse of cow killing was wiped off. Gautam was advised to go around the Brahmagiri mountain 101 times to fetch water from Ganga and to perform ceremonial ablutions, propitiating Lord Shiva and installing a crore of phallic images. As advised by the sages, Gautama and his wife began the process to wipe off the sin, and the disciples went with them to serve. Today we'll read chapter 26, the greatness of Triambakeshwara. Urvashi auntie is the English reader, and Rachna auntie is the Hindi reader. बहुत बहुत शुक्राना.
Jai Guruji, Anantam Shukrana for this divine seva. Chapter 26. The Greatness of Triambakeshwara. Suta said, O Brahmins, when all this was performed thus by the sage along with his wife, the delighted Shiva, accompanied by his Ganas, appeared before him. Then the gladdened Shiva, the storehouse of mercy, said, O great sage, mention the boon you wish to choose. I am delighted with your devotion. On seeing the beautiful form of Shiva, the Supreme Soul, the sage bowed to Shiva with devotion and eulogized him joyously. After eulogizing and bowing to Shiva many times, Gautama stood there with palms joined in reverence and said, O Lord, make me sinless. On hearing these words of the noble soul Gautama, Shiva became much delighted and spoke. Shiva said, O sage, you are blessed. You shall be contented. You are already sinless. You have been deceived by these wicked knaves. Indeed, on seeing you, people became sinless. How can you be a sinner? You are always engaged in devotion to me. O sage, indeed, all the wicked persons by whom you have been harassed are sinners, evil-minded, and murder-stained. Others too are likely to be sinners on seeing these. They have become already ungrateful. There is no way of atonement for them. Suta said, After saying this, O Brahmins, Lord Shiva, the bestower of happiness to the good and chastiser of the wicked, told him their evil actions in detail. On hearing the words of Shiva, the sage was greatly surprised. After bowing to him with devotion, he spoke again to him with palms joined in reverence. Gautama said, O Lord Shiva, a great help has been rendered by these sages. If they had not done like this, how could I have had your vision? Blessed indeed are the sages who have pursued this auspicious activity towards me. It is by their so-called evil action that my great self-interest is made possible. Suta said, on hearing his words, Lord Shiva became all the more delighted. Looking at Gautama mercifully, he replied. Shiva said, O leading Brahmin, you are a blessed sage. You are the most excellent among sages. Realizing that, I am highly delighted. You choose the excellent boon. Suta said, Gautama thought it is thus that the scandal was spread in the world. Otherwise, it would not have been so. Hence, I must do what is proper. After thinking like this, the excellent sage Gautama, devoted to Shiva, spoke to Shiva with palms joined in reverence and head bent down. Gautama said, O Lord, what you say is true. Still, what is done by the 5 leading persons cannot be otherwise. So, let what has happened happen. O Lord of gods, if you are delighted, may Ganga be given to me. Render help to the worlds. Obeisance be to you. Suta said, after saying these words and grasping his lotus-like feet, Gautama made obeisance to the Lord of gods with a desire for the welfare of the worlds. The essence of the earth and heaven had been extracted of yore. A part of this had been given to the sage by Brahma at his marriage. What had been held over, Lord Shiva, favorably disposed towards his devotees, now gave to the sage. Then the waters of Ganga assumed the form of a lady and stood there. The excellent sage eulogized her and made obeisance. Gautama said, O Ganga, you are blessed. You are contented. The whole world has been sanctified by you. Sanctify me too. I am likely to fall into hell. Suta said, Shiva too then spoke. O Ganga, listen. You are beneficial to all. At my behest, sanctify Gautama also. On hearing these words of Shiva and Gautama, Ganga, the holy Shakti of Shiva, spoke to Shiva. Ganga said, O Lord, after sanctifying the sage along with his followers, I shall return to my abode. I am telling you the truth. Suta said, when this was mentioned by Ganga, Lord Shiva, favorably disposed towards his devotees, spoke again to Ganga, keeping in mind the welfare of the worlds. Shiva said, O goddess, till the advent of the Kali Yuga, when the son of Vivasvat shall be the 28th Manu, you shall stay here alone. Suta said, on hearing these words of Lord Shiva, Ganga, the sanctified leading river, replied. Ganga said, O Lord Shiva, O slayer of the Tripuras, if my greatness were to surpass that of all, I shall stay on the earth. O Lord, please listen to something more. O Lord, please abide with me, with this beautiful body of yours, along with your consort and the Ganas. Suta said, on hearing her words, Shiva, favorably disposed towards his devotees, spoke again to Ganga for rendering help to the worlds. Shiva said, O Ganga, you are blessed. Listen, I am not distinct from you. Still I stay here. You too must stay. Suta said, on hearing these words of Lord Shiva, Ganga was delighted in the mind, and she accepted his advice. In the meantime, the gods and the sages, several holy centers and holy rivers came there, proclaiming, Be victorious, be victorious. They respectfully worshipped Gautama, Ganga, and Parvati. Thereafter, Vishnu, Brahma and other gods eulogized them joyously, joining their palms and drooping down their shoulders. Ganga and Parvati were delighted, and they said, "O excellent gods, mention the boon you desire to choose. We shall grant the same with the desire to do what is pleasing to you." The gods said, "O Lord of gods, O leading river, if you are delighted, you shall stay here, taking pity on us and for the benefit of men." Ganga said, "Why don't you stay here for the pleasure and welfare of all? After washing off the sin of Gautama, I shall go back the way I have come." O gods, how may my speciality be known apart from yours? If you can prove the same, I shall undoubtedly stay here. The gods said, "When Jupiter, the most friendly to all, comes to the zodiac of Leo, all of us will come. There is no doubt about it. O leading river, we will become unclean ourselves by cleaning off the sins of the people for 11 years. O beloved great goddess, we will come to you for washing that off in every respect. With respect, we reveal this truth to you. To bless the worlds, to do what is pleasing to us, Shiva shall stay here, and you too, O leading river. We shall stay here as long as Jupiter is in Leo. We shall take our bath thrice a day and visit Shiva. Then we shall get rid of our sins and with your permission return to our native lands." Suta said, "Thus requested by them as well as by the sage Gautama, Shiva stayed there with pleasure. The excellent river Ganga too stayed. Ganga there became famous as Gautami. The phallic image became famous by the name Triambaka. Both are destructive of great sins. From that time onwards, when Jupiter enters Leo, the holy rivers, sacred centers, and the gods come there. The holy lakes Pushkara and others, the sacred river Ganga and others, Vasudeva and other gods stay on the banks of the Gautami river. While they are here, they lose sacredness in their original places. They will have it back when they return there. This is a Jyotirlinga famous as Triambaka. It is stationed on the banks of the Gautami, destructive of great sins. He who sees the Jyotirlinga Triambaka with devotion and worships with obeisance after eulogizing it is freed from all sins. This very Jyotirlinga, Triambaka, was worshipped by Gautama. Being worshipped, it yields all desires here and bestows liberation hereafter. O great sages, thus what I have been asked has been narrated to you all. What else do you wish to hear? I shall explain it to you. No doubt need to be entertained in this respect. This concludes chapter 26. Now Rachna Aunty will be reading in Hindi. Thank you. Jai Guruji.